You got the cure that I need. You give me something to take away the pain. So baby, give it to me. I need your loving to make me feel again. I want you to stay. Let me take you over to the morning light. Just stay. I know you can help me make it through the night. 'Cause when you're holding me from reality, you keep the tears away. Just stay. Baby, don't you go. Set me free. Insanity's driving me out of my mind. You can make it right. Hold me close, deep inside. Take me to heaven tonight. I leave myself behind. You got the fix that I need. So come on, baby, put sugar on my pain. The way you give it to me, I know your loving will make me feel again. I want you to stay. Let me take you over to the morning light. Just stay. I know you can help me make it through the night. 'Cause when you're holding me from reality, you keep the tears away. Take me deep inside the moment. Give a little sweetness to my soul. Can't you feel my body calling? Baby, don't you go. Just stay. Let me take you over to the morning light. Just stay. I know you can help me make it through the night. 'Cause when you're holding me from reality, you keep the tears away. Just stay. Baby, don't you go. Just stay.
Alright. Hello everyone. I'm DJ Riddler along with Sozzi.
Hi, everyone.
Decided to
I'm in a spin, I'm giving in, I'm living in a daydream. When I saw you, your smile shone through and touched me like a sunbeam. I'm inside out.
You too, Rich. This is so awesome, and I gotta say, you're just so cutting edge on the technology. We're impressed. We're running a network out of there.
I'm falling for each day. How did you know? Been waiting to touch you and tell you how I feel. Walking on clouds. I'm spellbound.
Well, I'm trying to learn how to do what you're doing, which is, I wanted to be able to connect with my fans and my friends, and obviously I'm not going to be performing in a nightclub or anytime soon, I don't think. So learning, definitely reading and trying to research and learn how to start doing some more higher quality stuff for people like what you're doing. Learning how to be patient, learning that, learning to sit with myself, learning a lot of things being stuck home like this. Lots of good and bad things. They say that you really get to know yourself in tough times. I hear you. I mean, I know that's different, but let's see. Oh, hi, Lisa. A lot of people are signing up. This is so nice. Let them know if you can hear Rich, right? I can text them. You guys hear Rich. We were gonna pre-record this, but I said let's give him. Let's be crazy today. Let's bring it.
Better than music. Okay.
Well, we have no music now, right? So
We don't have music.
just us. It's gonna be a very intimate interview here. Me and Rich just bonding.
Turn up my mic.
Oh, they said they can't hear Kim. Can't hear me? Can't hear Kim? Really?
They should be able to hear you.
You should be able to. No, can't hear him. Steven, oh, my friend, yeah, Steven, my friend Steven knows. Let's say, Steven,
Can they hear?
can you hear us? I
Can,
can,
who can hear us?
yeah, exactly.
Who can hear us?
I'm waiting for someone to reply back. The background looks great, Rich. I'm watching what everyone's saying. It's so cool. Can't hear Rich. That's what Steve said.
All right. So,
Working on it. Thank you.
all right. So you know what? While I am fixing my audio for them,
Play a Mint song.
yeah. Why don't we talk about that? Let's see. We'll play
Can
a
they
little
hear you
song.
though? I can hear both, but background music is a bit loud. There's no background music. Steven just said that Rich is super low. That's all he said. And he says, this just said you're really low. Okay. Someone just said, can hear you, bitch. Okay, thank you.
Or by the way, okay. How about that? Is that
That's-
louder?
I think
There.
so.
Now that might be. You should be able to hear me now.
Oh, she said, can hear you both. I'm sorry. I thought she was playing me a BIT something. Okay.
Can you guys hear us now?
I'm going to ask Steven.
Let's see. I hear the video. I can hear Rich, but his volume's super low. But I just raised the volume down. Should be okay now.
I mean, it's super loud on my
Okay,
end.
they say
Yes, they
we can hear you. Okay, cool.
Yay!
All right, so
Whew, what a relief. Technology.
the music. Oh, I know why they saying
Why?
the music from the Mint video.
Oh, well, you're not supposed to hear that.
There we go. Now you don't hear the music.
Right.
You know
we
what
can
it is?
watch
Because I had the Mint video. I have the. So what they're seeing is they're seeing the Mint video on our screen.
Right. The virtual background,
The
right?
virtual background, and yeah, I had the Mint video playing.
Got it.
So now you should be able to hear us now.
Yeah.
There we go. So, okay.
Anyway, welcome everyone. I gave everyone a chance to sign on. I said like we're getting a good amount of people now.
Yeah, we're all good now.
Good now. Woo.
So thank you everyone for tuning into us. I mean, it's been a while since Kim and I actually seen each other in person. I don't know when it was the last time we saw each other.
Long. Like it could be 8 years. No, it's like 8 years, Rich. I remember when it was. It was like music conference, like 2011 or 12.
I think you're right. In
Yeah.
Miami.
In Miami.
Right? So it was Winter Music Conference, Miami Music Week. I think it was at the Pasha pool party, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow.
With
Yeah,
Sirius
yeah.
XM. We were backstage, and we had a lot of memories. Winter Music Conference.
Hey, those are secrets. Not memories.
No, I'm just saying is like I think
No, I know. Those are the best times of my life. Honest, looking back, those are some of the best memories ever. And I mean, I wouldn't trade it for anything. It was a great time of my life.
well, let's talk about that. I mean, I know you've done tons of interviews talking about, your start. I know you've come from a very musical family. Your father, a musician. Is he still playing, by the way?
Yeah, he's still playing. Nothing's gonna stop him. I mean, he's gonna play and be in the scene and he actually came with me to the classics that I did for Brian Rosenberg and the Posh event. He wanted to come. I'm like, come, I'm like,
Interesting about that Posh event, right? Which you were great. If you look at our How Did You Know video, there's footage of you from Posh. That was footage
no way!
in the How Did You Know video. We used footage from your Posh performance. from Brian Rosenberg.
Yeah.
So
Well, that was one of my like staples. That was the guy had like a residency there practically. Like that was I hope Brian's watching. I'm gonna tell him to tune in. That was amazing. That was yeah, funny. Posh was a lot of fun and yeah.
yeah, I mean those were great times. Posh, Mirage, you know,
Low.
yeah. And so, but anyways, like I was saying, you come from a musical family.
Yeah.
When did you realize this is what you wanted to do? Is something that you wanted to do.
I
Oh,
mean
by the
I
way, I see Joe Morena. You remember Joe
oh
Morena?
yeah. Oh my
Joe
God.
Morena just is on Facebook. Hey, Joe.
Hey Joe.
We should get a whole Mint reunion here. Have Joe on here
Wow.
also.
That is
Joe
wild.
Morena, if you don't know, was
American
one of
Idol.
was on American Idol, and he was also one of the vocalists, on the Mint album that we put out too. So it's good to see you, Joe. But going back to what I was saying, so when did
Oh.
you realize music was something you wanted to do?
So I was about 9 years old. I should send you this because it's really cute. I went with my grandparents, I think, or my parents. Do you remember you used to go to like Adventureland, like an amusement park, and they had that like big like a trailer, and you could go and do like karaoke, I guess, like sing. It was like it was called like Become a Star. Do you ever remember those? It's like
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
you go in like the van almost, and it's like, do you know what I'm talking about? It's like a mobile like studio, and you could like karaoke basically. It's so cool. Anyway, I sang the greatest
They
love of
they
all.
had those in the mall too, I think, right?
I don't. I did. This was like at some kind of amusement park or like whatever, but probably they had it there. And I said, "Oh," I said to my parents, "Oh, I want to go in there and like sing. I'm going to sing a song or whatever." So they didn't have
Do
any
you
idea.
remember what that song was?
Oh, I have it. I have the tape and all, Rich. It was the greatest love of all, but it was like the George Benson key. So I sang it like with some of the low notes I couldn't like exactly hit, but I was belting it out. My parents were crying, so happy. They played it for like 2 years straight for anyone that walked into our house. So like, and I would cry because didn't like want to hear myself, so it was torture. But I guess I knew I could like sing and hold a note at that age. And then I never thought this would be my job, to be honest. But I loved music from a very early age.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not I don't want to call it a job or like something that would be my ultimate career. That I would be able to living at and be successful at and to be able to do. I didn't think that this would be something I was doing full time.
Now, do you remember like kind of like your first performance, not with the family, but like your first like performance in front of actual people?
Oh yeah, very well. I almost threw up. Very, very well.
And
It
when
was
was
at Roxy in Huntington, and it was with like my high school band, like a band, and I think I was doing Black Velvet. I think it was Black Velvet or one of those songs, and or Edie Brickell. What I am is what I am. That one. I was so like sick and nauseous. Like I got that feeling. And it's funny, I still get that feeling like to this day. I guess it's a good thing. It keeps me on my toes, keeps you motivated and growing as an artist, but it's still like those butterflies. I still get them.
like how old were you on that
I
first
was
performance?
I was like 15.
Wow,
Yeah.
15 years old, and then after that first performance, did it get better? Did it get
Never stopped. That was it.
yeah?
Yeah, I was on my way. Just whether I liked it or not, like I had so much support, like seriously, from like just I guess the feedback and just you just keep doing it, you keep going. I never stopped.
So when was like the first time that the industry started noticing you?
So I don't know if anyone really knows this story because I feel like we made up the story at the time, but I was going to college and
Which college?
I went to Five Towns
Okay.
College. Yeah, it was local. I got into Hofstra. I was going to stay local, go to Hofstra, and then my mom, this new school had opened, and my mom said I was not really a great student, so she said, "Why don't you look at this new school? It's music," and so I said, "Sure." And I went there, and then I did an internship at Famous Artists. Do you remember Famous?
Oh
Jerry
yeah.
A.
Yep.
Jerry was and Norby Walters.
Yep.
Do you remember that whole like
Yep.
agency? Okay, so Jerry was like at my christening. I mean, so he was my dad's first agent. Norby Walters was my dad's first agent.
Oh wow.
So there's like a major history there. I don't know those of you that know Norby Walters, but you could look him up. And he actually started the whole track act and the whole industry in terms of He discovered Gloria Gaynor, and at the time when all these other states started calling her to do shows, they couldn't send a full band out there, so they said send her with the track. So that's how kind of the track act thing happened. Anyway, Jerry gave me an opportunity to do an internship there, and I did an internship there, and they were representing all the producers, that the Berman brothers, Hex Hector, Jonathan Peters. He was representing all these big names, and one of the producers asked me to demo stuff for Paula Abdul. I don't even know if I ever told you the story.
No.
Yeah, so he says to me, and he probably had a crush on me. I mean, he'll probably admit that now, maybe, but who knows if he even knew I could sing. But I said, I'm a singer. I'm doing this internship there, but I'm making contacts, because that's kind of what you do. You want to surround yourself in that environment. And I demoed a couple of songs for Paula Abdul. And then once we were in the studio, he said he had a couple originals, and we started playing around with them, and we basically got signed to Sony. Like, I signed like a deal with them, and then a year later I was signed to Columbia Records. So I guess it was from this one producer, putting myself in that environment really was helpful.
Now, those demos that you cut for Paula Abdul, what were they like?
Oh God, like 3 notes. I'm just kidding.
I mean, were they songs that we actually knew? Did they end up did she actually end up using them?
No, she was working on, this was like 95, 90, no, maybe like the late 90s, 96, 97.
Mm-hmm.
I probably have them somewhere. I don't know what project she was working on at the time, or if it was like a comeback. I don't even know. I could ask Johnny, like, if we still have those.
Do you know if they were was it pop? Was it dance? Or
It was pop. It was like a pop dance thing. So, I don't remember. It wasn't like, because I don't know if she had any other hits that came out around that time, or if she ever resurged. There was like, if she ever came back.
Yeah, I don't think she did. To be honest,
maybe it might have been a failed attempt, but it got me. I was basically getting paid as a demo singer, is what I'm saying. So I was like, demo it.
And I'm sure you probably demoed some other people too in your career, early on your career. Yes, no.
Yeah, I did. Not like a ton of demo work, but or not for anyone that you would really know. But I did like for other producers, and I did a lot like internal with like my own network of producers and writers that like were demoing just like to submit to for their publisher or whatever. So I wouldn't say it was like more like helping them out,
Right. So that's interesting. And then obviously when you first started, when you first got signed, you weren't doing dance music yet per se.
Correct.
So was you're musically, like early in your career, were you more on the rock side? Like, what did you really want to do at that time when you first got signed?
So at the time, I couldn't even believe that. I think I was like in denial. It's not even real when you're 20 or whatever, and you're singing for Tommy Mottola and Clive Davis and Ahmet Ertegun and David Geffen. I mean, just literally, like, it was almost like it was like an outer body experience. So it was pretty incredible. What was difficult was that I really didn't have a direction, Rich. Like, I knew I loved music. And I think that like part of the issue in terms of just creating my album was that at that time, like, Jessica Simpson was on the label, Mandy Moore, like, it was like that whole like girl, Nelly Furtado. It was like a lot of female artists were coming out. And I feel like I didn't really have like a solid direction, but initially it was definitely more on the pop rock side. It was definitely that, like, more acoustic singer songwriter, like what was that girl, Michelle Branch, like, that was what was like coming out at the time. And a lot of the problems that a lot of the producers want to do what's like current, and they want to follow the charts or whatever, the trends, and that's not always not always the best thing.
Now, you mentioned that you actually like auditioned for some of these big names like Clive Davis. Like, how, of all the people that you auditioned for, from Clive Davis to Tommy Mottola to David Geffen, which one was the most intimidating?
Clive Davis, like, a hands down. I mean, he didn't say a word. It was like people came in, like, I thought it was like going to like a court, like literally like a conference room. Rich, no joke. Like, suits. This was like, there were suits, and it was I remember this so well. It was a long conference table, and they were like just like men, just like stacked like in this long conference room, and I had to sing live
by yourself.
With an acoustic guitar. So one of my producers played the guitar, and I'm not kidding. I did it for like Jason Flom and Ahmet Ertegun and Tommy and Donnie, and the list goes on and on. I mean, David Kahn was somebody he was someone I really wanted to work with at Atlantic Records. We didn't, and Doug Morris. I mean, literally, Rich, we did the entire tour, and that was my most intimidating meeting.
Clive Davis was the intimidating meeting for you.
Like, yeah, yeah. I still am like, oh my god.
Like, how long did that meeting last?
I mean, it was probably like 20 minutes. Like I remember we talked for a little bit, and then I sang a couple songs, and you know what I remember actually really, really well just came to me. He wanted lyric sheets of all of, like, so we sang like 3 or 4 songs, and we were shopping at the time, like a 4-song demo. And he wanted lyric sheets like a week before the meeting, because I guess he's a big, big, big lyric guy.
Yeah.
Which I guess that's true, obviously. And so he was studying the lyrics, and he really like drilled us on just the song, I guess, and everything that was important to him. So
wow, that's amazing. But then
I have my Sony album. Wait, I'm going to show you. Hold on. I'm grabbing it here if I can find it. Hold on. Where is it? Hold on. Are you guys still there? Do you mind?
I don't think they mind at all.
Okay, I'm going to see if I can find it. There are a bunch of my albums. But, this is, of course. Why would I? Oh, is this it? No. I'll come back and we'll find it, but I have it somewhere. I'll come back and get it, but it's my my whole album. Which one of the songs was on Dawson's Creek, which Letting Go. That was like that song I love. Then I had another song on the Teaching Mrs. Tingle soundtrack with Katie Holmes, the lead single, which was fun.
So eventually you ended up signing with Tommy Mottola then, or no?
Yeah,
with
Tommy was. So we were going to sign to Atlantic Records with David Kahn, which he's very produced. He's amazing, and truthfully, like on a production level, on a creativity level, he was real. We should have stuck. We should have went there. That's where we should have signed, but we didn't. And Tommy, I sang for Tommy and had a meeting, and he didn't let us leave the room. Our lawyer signed like a deal that night at the office.
He loved you that much, huh?
That was the end of it. Yeah, well, there was like this whole bidding war, as you know, and so he was like making deals at the time, and he was like, "Yeah, this is it." And then we made this deal at Columbia.
Now, what was that meeting like? The first time you met Tommy, was that what kind of vibe did he give off? Like, were you?
He was great. I mean, obviously, he was. I think getting divorced maybe to Mariah at the time. And that whole Latin explosion was starting with like J-Lo and Mark Anthony and all. I think that was like also around the same time. Nothing. I mean, he's like legendary, super. It was like a dream come true. I mean, it was really incredible. Charlie Walk was there and Jerry Blair. I mean, these are all names
legends, all the industry legends, basically.
Legends, like literally. I mean, I feel like this doesn't even exist anymore. I don't know, or whatever. But it was a really great time. We had it was an unbelievable time in my life.
And obviously, once you signed with Sony, you were probably 100 miles an hour at that point.
100 miles an hour, yeah. But I will say, people, you get signed and you think that like you've made it. You're like one step up the ladder. Right? It's an amazing. You have to get to that point to like get to the top, but it's one notch up a very tall ladder. I'll just say that.
Yeah, I mean, look, you and I, we both have so many experiences from the label side. Yeah, it's so true. An artist that are listening right now, or aspiring artists, just because you get signed to a label, it doesn't mean you are guaranteed a successful career at all. In fact, you got to work even harder, because you got to not only prove to the people outside of the company that you're something, but you got to prove people in the company that you can make it.
I mean, Alicia Keys was on Columbia. She was dropped. There was like so many artists that like have had failed, and I don't want to even call it a failure, but like where just their album did not get released and they've moved on to other labels, or they had, struggles. I mean, it's not just a guaranteed success because you get a record deal.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And in fact, these days you're better off. I always say, like, even advice that I give to someone starting, I'm always like, you're better off like really being like what your own person and developing yourself and really, I mean, look at Billie Eilish. I mean, I don't think that the labels you need with technology today and everything that we have, all the capabilities, really, it's possible to do it on your own.
Yeah, it's kind of sad. A lot of labels, I mean, they're not really artist developing anymore.
Right.
They're basically chasing what's already hot. So if you're already have 40 million streams, then they're going to start looking at you.
Exactly. And that's what people are doing. They're paying for like, 1 million followers on Instagram, which is fake. I mean, like, it's just crazy. And I don't know. It just, I'm glad that I'm like done with that part,
I will say this, like the music industry has definitely changed from when we were doing stuff together, and it's going to change even after this whole pandemic thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's talk about real quick. So right after, you signed with Sony, then this is kind of when I met you. You were
Yeah.
doing stuff with the Berman Brothers. How did the transition from doing, kind of this folk rock stuff into dance music happen?
I will tell you. So I'll make it short because I feel like I have such a long story, and that's what's so crazy when people just pop up out of nowhere and they're like, "Oh my God, like this person popped up out of nowhere and they have a hit on the radio. I never heard of them." We're all been working for years. Like, it doesn't just we don't just magically appear. It was such a long journey, even to the stage of where I met you. But basically, Sony, I did this whole album. We released a couple of singles. They decided not to, and I'm not going to say what promotion person up at Sony. Basically, they ended up not releasing the album as a whole. And
well, see, this goes back to what I was saying. You
one
have
person stop the train.
You have to be able to promote yourself inside the record label as well as outside the record label, and that was the
most more important. Inside.
Yeah, because like you said, one person can block.
One person
can block your career.
I'm not even going to say his name. I'm not going to say the name because I'm not going to. But we can do this off camera. Yeah. But one person, and meanwhile, the person a week before that I had 4 hits. So who knows? Anyway, that happens. It was devastating. I'm not gonna lie. It was really like, oh my God, like I didn't even know that was like, I said, how does that even happen? And I'm confused. Like I have a contract, like I've signed like my life away. What do you mean? So anyway, that happened. And then I took, a few months just to regroup. I really just to see even what was happening. And long story short, a friend of mine said, the Berman Brothers are looking for an artist. They had Amber at the time. They had tons of hits. They had like Another Night. They had The Real McCoy. They had a lot of success. So I went there. I auditioned for them.
In their Soho studios?
In their Soho studios.
Yeah, I remember those studios.
And the only amazing thing is that basically I didn't even really have to audition because I just said, Tommy, just sign me. And they're not putting my album out, and I'm basically a free agent, and we made a deal. So that was easy. That part was the easy part. I guess they felt that Tommy, they trusted his word, or that, anyway, so we did a deal. And then I put out that song Feelin' Me, but I recorded Feelin' Me as a ballad, which I'll send to you. It was an acoustic, also an acoustic-y kind of a song. And the Berman Brothers were represented by Jerry Aid. Yep. This is how full circle everything came, by the way. And what's crazy is Jerry, when I was doing the internship at Famous, he had me audition for the Berman Brothers because he knew I wanted to be a singer, and they turned me down. That's the irony.
Wow. So they turned you down initially.
They turned me down.
But then eventually it came full circle,
but they didn't remember me because then I was like blonde and I was in that whole Kim Sozzi thing. But they literally turned me down, Rich. And I remember when I auditioned for him, it was like he was like so physically upset that like he was doing it as a favor, clearly, but like he didn't, and he auditioned me, whatever, and then nothing ever happened. And then 3 years later, or whatever it was, I circled back, but this time I have the credentials to say, oh, I was signed to Sony, and now they weren't listening to me, And they they remix Feelin' Me, and that's how I got started in the dance world.
And the dance world, they embraced you immediately.
I had Hex and Jonathan, two of the biggest producers. You couldn't get any bigger in terms of those names. At the time, I didn't really know what that meant because this was not my world. I really didn't grow up going to clubs, and I just didn't know. And all of a sudden, I have a hit on the charts, on the dance charts, which was shocking.
Well, what was your first club performance? Do you remember your first club performance?
I think it was Twilo,
New York City.
Yeah, it was Twilo, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, and it was like Bernadette. Do you remember that girl, Bernadette?
Bernadette, yeah.
Yeah, I think that she booked me and she's like, listen, you're gonna go and you're gonna go on like at 3 in the morning and they're gonna pay you this. I'm like, what? And she tells me you're gonna sing. I'm like, I only have one song. What do you mean? Like, I'm just gonna do one song? That's a kind of strange. You're just gonna go there, a limo's gonna pick you up, you're gonna sing the song, and, and you're gonna leave. And I said, okay.
You know what was interesting too about you as a dance artist, you weren't like your at that time, the stereotypical dance artist was, you know, you would be singing and you'd have like four backup dancers, and you didn't really do that.
Never.
You didn't have the backup dancers
I know.
when you perform, which was really different because I know probably in the beginning there were people going, "What's going on? Why is this girl by herself on stage? Like,
Right.
where are the dancers? Where are the
Yeah.
So that was interesting. I mean, I actually had experience working with the Berman Brothers as well because at the time I worked at Tommy Boy Records,
Yeah.
and I got to Tommy Boy right when we signed Amber, and
Big signing.
she did the same thing too. By the way, she auditioned in front of the staff right
At
in the
Tommy Boy?
lobby at Tommy Boy.
Wow.
She did a audition in front of the lobby in front of Tommy Boy, and
Wow.
that's she got signed that day.
Isn't that cool? Like now I guess I mean it's just so wild, right?
Yeah, I mean it's crazy how I guess now it's just a different time.
Yeah.
People just labels don't even like do those kind of things hardly
I know.
anymore. So anyways, we were going back to the clubs. Your first club experience, your club performance was at Twilo.
Yeah,
you
that was
rem-
awesome. I still remember it. It was sick. I loved it.
Do you remember what the people were like? Were you nervous? Because this is your first club performance.
I was so excited. Honestly, I remember my best friend Lauren and her husband came, and like I think honestly, those days people were not really that straight. I'm just gonna say that. So like I felt a little bit more relaxed because people were really like living life and enjoying life. And like I mean, you're talking thousands of people. Like I was on this big stage. Like if any, like I felt pretty secure up there. I remember, and it's late. I mean, I'm more nervous like when I sing on the internet or whatever, like one on one, and it's daylight and people are sober. I mean, 2 o'clock in the morning. The night couldn't. It's almost like the night could. How could the night go wrong? Do you know what I'm saying? I had one song to sing. It was so exciting, and I feel like that's what like kept me like going. Is because I just loved like that feeling, of performing like that. So.
Yeah, and then of course I'm pretty sure you ended up doing performance at Factory with
Oh God, yeah.
Jonathan.
That was amazing. That I'll tell you, the Berman brothers called me and said, Jonathan's birthday is coming up and he wants you to sing Feelin' Me. So I said, all right. And by the way, props to Tony Coluccio because just adore him. One of the also worked on that record. So I said, okay, no problem. I can't wait. Of course I'll do it. It's Jonathan, no problem. So they said, all right, the limo's gonna pick you up at like 6 o'clock. I'm like, isn't 6 o'clock like early for like, shouldn't it be going on like 11, 12 midnight? Like, what do you mean? They go, no, Kim.
6 a.m.
6 a.m. I kid you not. This is what I realized my life is not normal. Okay. My life's not normal when like the sun's coming up and I'm like, just going to work. Not normal.
And there was probably like 3,000 people there at 6 a.m.
It was packed. I remember leaving being like, this is insanity. Insanity.
Yeah, I mean, there's been many a nights where literally I would go to bed Saturday night, like 10 o'clock at night. Go to bed 10 o'clock, wake up at 5 a.m. in the morning, and go to Factory to see Jonathan, and there'll be 3,000 people there.
Oh, yeah, and the night's just getting started.
This is like 6 a.m. in the morning, and yeah, it's crazy. And then we leave there like, 4 or 5 o'clock Sunday afternoon.
I mean, we did that like at Space in Miami. I feel like, Rich. We'd be like, all right, we're gonna take a disco nap. Like, we'll be up, and then we'll meet up around like 2 or whatever. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, and that was like the
Not even
norm.
nightclubs. There's no nightclubs. You realize there's no nightclubs in New York City? How sick is that?
I know.
Not one night. Like, it's really pathetic.
Yeah, I mean, and also too, as a DJ back then, DJs were doing at least 6-hour sets minimum.
Oh, yeah.
Minimum
Yep.
6-hour sets. Nowadays, like DJs, they get I mean, if they do 2 hours, they're already complaining. So
They don't make them like us anymore, Rich. I'll tell you that. They have
yeah,
no
it's
clue.
so different. But um,
Now we're virtually watching DJs. I mean, it's like really unbelievable when you think about like where we. It's wild when you really think about that.
yeah, I mean, the great thing about doing performances online and obviously doing interviews like this is we get to connect with so many people from all over the country, all over the world, really.
No, that part I agree. Amazing. Yes.
You
Yes.
know, so um,
I just wish we had both. That's all. Like it would be nice to
oh,
live a
I
little,
know.
at some point, something, go out, get dressed,
Yeah, I mean, we'll get there eventually, though, right? We will. We'll get there. So we were talking about your transition into dance music. Um, we met. Let's. I'm just curious.
There you go.
There you
Better.
go.
You're
Okay.
back.
Okay. Cool. Cool.
It's like we met. I'm trying to remember. Go ahead. We met.
So when, so from your point of view, where do you like? When did we meet, and or how did we meet?
I really wish I knew exactly. I think we met probably through, was it Donnie? No, it wasn't Donnie.
Yes,
Was
it was Donnie, and it was actually at
it?
the Berman studio.
Are you impressed? I remember this.
Yeah,
It was at the Berman studio. Yeah, I feel like I remember this
yeah.
now.
Donnie worked over at is it
Edel.
Edel? That was the
Yeah.
label that you were signed to.
Wow, Rich.
He had invited me to the studios to meet you. He said, "Hey, we have this new artist. We have this new artist, Kim Sozzi. The Berman Brothers would like to, have you come down."
Wow.
So it was. So I went down to the Berman Brothers studio in Soho, which was a really nice studio.
Oh, their life was sick. I was like, I loved it. I worked there out of that place every day. It was awesome. Yeah.
What Sorry, my dog there.
No, no worries.
Hold on. Dogs are barking because I guess Amazon is here. What can you remember? Going back really quick
Yeah.
with the Berman Brothers, what can you what do you remember about the Berman Brothers?
So I actually saw the Berman Brothers. I wish I could show you the picture pretty recently with Vicky Barati.
Are they still in the States?
They are back and forth, but right now they're in Germany. Their parents are still alive, actually. I saw them for dinner. I still speak to them. Frank and Christian are great. I remember. I honestly, I can't say enough amazing things about the Berman Brothers. They were unbelievable to work with. Great people, great energy. Christian, his brother, was more was the producer. And Frank was like the businessman, although I'm sure they both worked together. But Christian was unbelievable to work with, and Frank was just the best. I don't have a bad thing to say about them. They were fabulous.
What was their? I mean, what was that energy like working with them in the studio?
Yeah, Frank was always like about business. Like he'd part when it was time to go out and celebrate and have a few drinks or go out or enjoy. That was it. There was work and then there was play. And when it was work, it was serious. And they expected a lot of me. Actually,
Were they intense as far as like working in the studio? Like, did they like direct you on how they wanted you to sound? Did they?
No, they were creatively amazing. We did a lot of songwriting. To be honest, I wish I had like that influence in my life, like more because I need sometimes to be pushed a little bit. But they expected a lot of me in terms of just writing and contributing. And it wasn't like, every day I showed up and I had the opportunity to collaborate. I mean, I have an album with them too and work with different writers. And I actually wrote Secret Love with them, which I released later on. But creatively, it was a really good time in my life because there was no real pressure or expectations. And I feel like they really valued like what I had to say. And they respected, my talent and they believed in me, and it was really a good time.
Yeah, it's amazing though. I mean, they were definitely during that time they were definitely great people first of all, but very talented.
Very and smart, like super
Hmm.
smart. But like they definitely had that like German way. I mean, business was business, and like there was no time for laughing. When we were in the studio, we were working, and like they were full days, and they were, but it wasn't even work, Rich. It was like such a good. I mean, it was so productive creatively that it wasn't even like work. It was like, oh, I'm going to do something every day that I love
Hmm.
with people that are so talented. Like it wasn't work. It was a real, and there was no like coming from like the big label and Sony and and honestly at that there was so much politics and pressure and people and egos. Like there were no, Frank and Christian were business. There was no egos. It was just such love and everyone got along. And I just didn't have that whole thing with like when you're doing like corporate like labels and the big. And I'm not saying anything bad. I'm just saying that it was just a really, it was a total 180 from where I had come from.
Yeah. Now, yeah. So, from what I remember,
Yeah,
we met at the Berman
I'm glad I
studio.
remember that.
Yeah, we met at the Berman studio, and yeah, and I mean, I became like kind of a fan of yours, fan of your music, and
Well, we
obviously,
were fast friends. We were fast friends.
yeah, I mean,
And
and
I'm a fan of yours. I mean, you were on KTU. You were like doing big things. Like, I mean, I was like, the Riddler's coming to see. Like, I mean, let's like toot your own horn for a second. You were important. You are important. I mean, it was like a big deal. I remember being like, I can't believe that you were coming down, and it was exciting. Very exciting.
yeah, and it was, and I was trying to figure out during that time too, because I was in a transition as well, because I was, besides working on KTU, I was working on the label side as well. I worked at Tommy Boy Records, and I went to Capitol Records, then I went to MCA Records, and then I finally went to Ultra Records. So I was, trying to decide, all right, am I going to stay as a record executive, or am I going to try to pursue becoming an artist myself? And believe it or not, the when we started working together, that's what kind of pushed me into saying, you know what, I'm going to focus on being a producer and being an artist. Our experience of doing How Did You Know really kind of pushed me into that direction, and that's when I resigned my post
Yeah.
at Ultra, but uh, still signed to Ultra. So
I know. Isn't that crazy?
yeah, Bruce Lee Reiner. Hey, Bruce Reiner is checking in.
Hi.
He is
Hi, Bruce.
definitely a music industry veteran. Good to see you on Facebook.
Yeah, hey, Kenyatta. We have a again
oh, there we
and
go.
put myself back out there again. So, so we were talking about Ultra, right, Rich? So that was the best thing ever, by the way.
Yeah.
So I go to Germany. I remember, so we meet. Phil and me got like a lot of underground love, and then it never quite. I think I got a lot of mixed show play on K2, but didn't really ever get an ad to the
Official
station,
ad.
an official ad. And then then the Berman sent me off to Germany. Do you remember I signed to Sony Epic Germany? I did that for a while. I did the duet with Jose Carreras and I did a bunch of things there. And then I said to them, I got to come home. When I told them that, they says, I don't blame you. I said, thanks, guys. They're living in America and I'm living in their country. I'm like, I'm ready to come home. It was almost 2 years.
You were in
And
Europe for 2 years?
yeah, back and forth. Like, yeah.
What part
A
of
year
you?
and a half, maybe Rich, maybe like 18 months. I forget exactly, but I did like Top of the Pops. I did Popcom. I did all these amazing things. I mean, again, like these are all experiences that you can't even buy. You can't buy these experiences. And then I'll never forget when I get home and once again, I'm like, what am I going to do? I'm back. I'm not, where am I going to, what am I? And you call out of the blue
Well,
about how did you know?
yeah, which was an interesting thing. I'm
No
trying
one
to,
knows this story.
yeah, I'm trying to remember it. You might have to
I
remind
remember it
me.
perfectly.
Okay, how did we end up doing this song to begin with?
Rich, come on.
Okay, I'm not
I
trying
know.
to play. I'm
No,
not trying to play dumb, but
okay, no, I'll tell you
I'm
exactly. This
trying
is my
to.
recollection. My memory, I'm home from Germany, and I'm telling you, I'm like fresh home from Germany, like weeks, not even like, and I get this random call, and you said to me you were putting out one of your compilation CDs
Yep.
on maybe was it Louis DeVito's label?
No, Louis was doing his compilations. He had his New York City Underground
Right, and
compilation,
you were right,
and I had my
on
compilations
Ultra.
at Ultra.
Okay,
Yeah,
you were
so
doing Ultra, and I remember you had licensed. How did you know?
by
And you
Curtis Mantronics.
by Curtis Mantronics, but you licensed the instrumental.
Right.
And they wanted you to pay another like licensing fee of like five something crazy.
Okay, now I remember.
Ah,
Okay.
it's a good story,
All
by the way.
right.
I'll let you tell it because it's so good.
Okay, so this is the T. This is the T now. All right, so get ready. I know these tri-state area people.
Karma.
The tri-state area people are gonna. You guys don't know this story. So, how did you know? Was it originally a song by Curtis Mantronics? Curtis Mantronics, How Did You Know, was a huge club record. Back in the day, like everybody was playing this record. Down the shore in the Hamptons. Great record, and this was the time when compilations were huge. Every DJ had a DJ compilation. I had my DJ compilation, my Dance Mix NYC compilations, my Ultra Dance compilations, Ultra Trance. And of course, Louis DeVito, he had his compilations. He had his New York City Underground compilations, but he also had a record label too, because with the success of his New York City Underground compilations, what he started doing was, because back in the day, if you wanted a song on a compilation, you had to pay a big advance. I mean, it was crazy.
Stupid money.
It was like literally like to get one song could cost like $50,000 to get, because the profit margin was really high back then when record companies were selling actual physical CDs, not like, digital downloads. Right. So Louis DeVito, he was very successful. His claim to fame was, he was putting out compilations and they were doing okay, maybe selling, 100,000 copies or whatever. But it wasn't until he got lucky. He licensed Mel C, I Turn to You, the Hex Hector remix on one of his compilations. Now, the original master owner in the States, I forgot who it was. I think it was Virgin. Or whatever, they initially blocked it. Like they didn't want that song to be on any compilations at all. But somehow he went overseas and was able to get the license for Mel C, I Turn to You on his compilation for like a ridiculous number. I mean, I don't know the exact number, but it was really, really, really low. Like I heard anywhere between like 10,000, which is not, back then, that wasn't really a lot of money to license. So he had that song and he had a bunch of songs. on this compilation, and that ended up, putting him
Definitely.
over the top, and that's when he was, selling, hundreds of thousands of CDs, and that's when the whole music industry was like taking notice. But it was I give credit to him for being able to license a big record like that, uh, kind of circumventing the system and getting it licensed. So going fast forward to this compilation, I was putting out my compilation on Ultra, and we were trying to license Curtis Mantronic's "How Did You Know?" And during the middle of the negotiations, Louis signed the Curtis Mantronic's record to his label. So in order for us to put that song on my compilation, I had to either, or Ultra had to pay him, but this is where I don't remember, but I think he didn't want to license it because obviously he wanted the exclusive. So he wanted that to be exclusive to his compilation. He didn't want it to be on a competing compilation. So
But I think he wanted you to pay again. Like,
yeah,
he
yeah.
didn't give you, but he was like holding you up to pay
No,
for it.
yeah, he wanted Ultra. He wanted Ultra to pay a big
Yeah.
amount of money for the record. So that's when, we just said, "All
Well, that's
right."
when you're not clever, Rich.
I just said, "All right. Well, you could keep your record. We'll just do a cover." So we decided to do a cover of "How Did You Know?" Albert, my
All new
partner,
production, yeah, awesome.
Albert, my production partner, we used to go by Albie Rich. We decided to do the cover, and that's when we called you. We also decided to make it totally different from the original because the original was a little more house, a little more funky. So this time we wanted to make it a little more, I guess, Americanized, a little more electro, and we just did "How Did You Know?" So
I think I heard it at Ray's studio for like the first time. Like I don't think it was like just come to the studio, meet me. We went to Ray's studio. Do you remember that?
yeah,
It's like
yeah,
I
Studio
was like,
Ray. We used to call him
yeah,
Studio Ray.
yeah. He's like, do you have a plan? Like I have a place to cut the vocal. We'll just like we'll meet in Queens. We're gonna. I think you play for me. I heard. I mean, and we like cut it in like a day, like an hour, like really like pretty quick.
Hmm.
And I was like, okay, like we're good. And who knew that this was going to be the number one most played song of the year in KTU?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, that was the amazing thing. And I know Louis was crying about that. Okay. Can you hear me
Wait, I
now?
can't hear you.
Wait, can you hear
Wait,
me now?
it out when you said Louis was crying. Yes,
Can you
yes.
hear me? Yeah. I mean, obviously, since he had purchased the record, the Curtis Mantronic's record, he wanted to try to get radio airplay on that version on KTU. But to Jeff Z's credit, he decided to go with our version instead. But it kind of made sense, look, it's you're a local singer.
Oh, there we are.
There we are. You know, it's weird. I think it's with Zoom. I don't know what's going on. My Zoom feed is cutting off intermittently.
That's so weird.
It's the Zoom feed.
It's probably next time we'll have to do a different app or something.
Okay. Anyways,
either that or is Louis DeVito coming in? And like,
I know. Is he like?
like Louis was crying, and all of a sudden, like the whole thing drops out.
You know what's kind of crazy is like so going back to that. So I was saying is he was trying to get the Curtis Mantronic's "How Did You Know" version onto KTU. Obviously, they decided to go with our version, just because it just made more sense.
Right.
But I think he held a grudge for a while about that.
How could you not? I mean, you came at him, like backdoored him, like with some very clever like idea. I mean, not many people, a lot of people, or what he expected you to do was just a buck up, or for Ultra, who has tons of money, to just pay him and like it be over. And you were like, no, I'm gonna like be clever about this. And it was really an opportunity for you as a producer and to really take something as it was a challenge. I mean, you produced this amazing, by the way, one of my, I mean, it put me on the map. I mean, I had this little underground thing happening, fine, but like, I have to thank you, Rich. And, we have a special friendship, Rich. I want to get emotional and cry, but I love you a lot, Rich. I do.
Oh, no, I always have a lot of love for
and
you
I'm
too.
really grateful, whether or not I've ever thanked you before.
That was actually like my first radio hit record as a producer artist as well. So, we both needed each other.
Yeah. Well, thank you. But I want to just, I learned the business like that. I mean, it just on every level, it just was really amazing to work with you. And again, not even music aside, which is so important. Like you really knew how to like, we promoted that record. And so you worked that record. I mean, from the label side, from every aspect, and it was number one. I mean, that's huge.
No, we even got Z100 to play the record too.
Huge, Rich. It was ridiculous. Really, you were your producer, artist, label, promoter. I mean, really, all of it. You did it all.
Yeah, and it was fun because then obviously that led us to deciding, let's do the Mint album.
Yeah.
And we started working on that. Before we got on this call, we were just talking about old records, and we came across one of the tracks off the Mint album, Stay. And I was going through the writer credits, and I didn't even realize this, but one of the writers on Stay is Axwell.
Amazing.
So Axwell from Swedish House Mafia is one of the credited writers to Stay. We were just listening to that too, and I think we should redo that record.
We
should redo it.
Fun.
Do a 2020 version of Stay.
Let's see what the people think. Do you guys think that we should do another song together?
Yeah.
My vote is yes.
What do you think, Facebook? Should we do another Kim Sozzi, Riddler, Mint record?
We can make it a Mint record. Are we going to do
it? Yeah, that whole experience was interesting too, because it was the first time for a lot of things, myself as well. I was never part of a group per se, and I don't think you were either.
No.
So this was new territory for us too. We were all never really part of a group. We all did our own thing. So that was interesting experience too.
Yeah. That was hard. That part was not the fun part. That part got a little tricky, but we're way over it.
Yeah. I mean,
and the album was really good. I mean, we had some really good songs. I don't even know if everyone, there was some really good stuff on that album.
Actually. Oh.
You're back on now, Rich. You weren't for a second.
Yeah, it's zoomed. I'm telling you, Zoom is acting wacky right now.
Well, stock is going down as we speak.
So, are you
Uh,
there? Yeah, so like Mark Davenport, he helped with the project. Mark Davenport, he's working, he manages MK now, so he's with Marcy Weber. So
oh, well.
he, so people are saying no audio.
No, it's back.
Oh, it's back.
I should be back. Yeah, it's definitely back.
Yeah. Okay, there we go. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, sorry guys, it's this whole Zoom
Not
thing.
us. Rich is super. This is like he's got a whole studio out there. It's amazing. Not Rich.
You know, all right. So then after the Mint album, then you started doing more originals, and then you had not only did you had the #1 dance record in the country, Billboard Dance Radio.
That was amazing.
You remember what was that like? Your first #1 Billboard Dance Radio record.
That was the whole thing was incredible. It was really incredible, really, really amazing. And I unfortunately my manager, I lost my manager like a couple years right after that, and that was just tragic. Steve Kurtz. That was very difficult. But that was a really great time, and I had a lot of support. And yeah, I mean, those Sky actually, I remember I think that he played it on Sirius,
Yeah.
and it just took off.
Which record was that again?
Feel Your Love.
Yes, Feel Your Love. And then your what did you follow Feel Your Love with after that?
Feel Your Love was, well, I had Alone in between that. So Alone came out in between, and then Feel Your Love, and then we Kiss Me Back. Remember that? Kiss Me
Yeah.
Back, and Seek Secret Love, and Just One Day. And then there was a bunch of them, and then Steve died, and then that was like a very emotional time for me.
Yeah. Oh, big shout outs to, I see John Parker has joined us. Johnny Buds also has joined us. I saw Johnny
Gary
Buds.
Vance, John Parker. These are the crew.
Yeah.
I'm hearing reunion, Rich.
I know.
Reunion.
2/3. Yeah, we're just missing Albert. So for those that are wondering
Oh,
where Albert
Albert.
is, you could see him in the background while the video is playing. Albert Castillo was my partner in crime, production partner in crime, and he's doing well. He lives here in Texas. We actually live in the same neighborhood. So
Do you now, Rich?
yeah.
And you don't see him or speak to him?
Well, no, we speak. I mean, it's just hard, So here's what happened. So in 2006, Albert and his wife decided they wanted to move back to
His
Texas.
wife decided or Albert decided?
Well, you know.
I'm kidding. Don't kill me.
So they decided they wanted to move back to Houston, right? And raise their family. Well, they wanted to have kids. They didn't have kids yet. So they decided to move back to Houston, and they were sending, at the time, Albert was living with me. So, or he lived with me for a little bit, and then he moved into an apartment. But they moved back to Houston, and I saw him. I was like, "So where are you moving to?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm moving, Spring, which is it's like north of Houston." And I was saying, "Well, how much is your house?" He was showing me pictures of his house, and it was this huge 5-bedroom, 3,200 or 3,000 square foot house, and something like that in Long Island. What do you think? $1 million?
Oh, yeah.
Like 5-bedroom, 3,000 square foot house?
Yeah.
So it was, I said, "How much is that house?" $195,000. I said, "What?"
No.
And I said, "Are you for real?" I said, "Yeah." So then I decided, okay, you know what? I'm going to buy a house too in your neighborhood. So that way, we could still do production. When I come down, I have a place to stay. And back then, flights were pretty cheap. So I would just fly back and forth. So, I bought a house. He bought, we live, we don't live we're not like neighbors. I mean, we're in the neighborhood.
Can you walk to his house?
No, can't walk. Could drive though.
Okay.
But,
yeah.
but anyways, so Albert, he ended up getting a job with United Airlines, and he got out of the music industry. So he's doing well though. He has 2 children now, works with United, and unfortunately, just not doing the music thing. He was very talented.
So talented.
Yeah, but he's doing well though. So, but
Sending you love, Albie.
and then but for yourself, so you obviously you have your business as well, creations.
Yes, creations, doing the weddings and events.
But are you still, so what's your take then, on the music industry today? We've already talked about what it was like then.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
what is your take on it today?
I feel very disconnected from it, truthfully. I mean, some of the music, I'm just gonna say, some's been, there's some artists that are doing amazing things, and then some of it is just junk. Honestly, some of it just, I mean, and a lot of it is so disposable. It's like I can't even keep up. There's a lot of it just tracks. Oh, hi, Riddler, say hi. We're live on Facebook. Come see the background. It looks so cool. Some of the songs are just so, the artist, just the whole thing is so disposable. Like these tracks come in and out so quickly. It's almost like you can't ever get connected to, I don't even know what's going on, to be honest. It's just a lot. Um, so that part's like kind of sad, either that or just my life has changed a lot where I'm just
Yeah,
not,
that's right.
I don't follow like the trend. I don't follow music as much, to be quite honest. And you've so many before when I was, I don't say growing up, but like you'd get in the car and it'd be like the same 20, 30 songs all the time, and like, so I knew everything. You knew every word to all the songs. You had like, they brainwash you with these songs. Now you could listen on Sirius. You could have 100 different radio stations to listen to different. I mean, there's just so many outlets of where you can get your music and enjoyment from that I don't necessarily listen to like what the top 3 radio stations tell me to. So I'm all over the place. So I don't always know what's going on like in the pop culture.
Right. So are there any artists that you do like though? Who do you like right
Yeah,
now?
I mean, I like the chain smokers. I mean, I wouldn't say they're like the most incredible, like, but I like them. I love Billie Eilish. I like who else do I really like? I mean, I love Bruno Mars. I mean, I like all the big names are still doing great stuff. I mean, I'm not like totally clueless, but I wouldn't say that like there's a female that I'm like upset. I used to have like girl crushes like on like the latest. But I still love Kelly Clarkson and Beyonce's and the Adeles. I mean, I'm still, big on all those artists.
And then you're a mother, just like I'm a father. You're a
Yes,
mom. Yeah.
the best thing ever.
When that I remember, uh, you weren't really at the time like you were still when you were still doing music. You weren't even thinking family at that time.
Wow.
But
Is that what I told you? I don't even
yeah,
remember.
you kind. I mean, you didn't flat out say it, but you weren't ready for it yet.
I wasn't ready.
You
I
weren't
wasn't
ready.
ready. No.
But then when you did have your son,
Oh my God. His name is Brody.
yeah,
So freaking, I mean, sure, everyone could see him on Facebook or Instagram, but it's the best thing that I literally, I mean, it's life changing, and I only have one child, and he'll probably be my only. But it's like the best thing, and I love him more than anything in the entire world, and being a mom is just one of the greatest things. It's a greatest joys of my life.
so do you see? Is he interested in music at all? Does he have any musical genes in him?
Yesterday, Rich, just yesterday, because I'm doing a private Zoom concert for this brokerage house or whatever. It's on my Instagram. You can get tickets. Anyway, I'm doing a landslide. So I'm in my office and I'm like working on the song, whatever. And my son comes up because otherwise I haven't noticed any musical ability or any interest in music whatsoever. And he says to me, Mom, that's the song from Overcooked. Now that's like something on Xbox. I don't even know, but it's like a very similar in terms of it has an acoustic guitar. And honestly, it's very similar, maybe in the same key or whatever. And when he said that, I go, you know what, Brody? It does sound like Overcooked. So he does have an ear, which was like groundbreaking because I didn't know what to expect because he's a very boy. And I try to get him to listen to music and I want him to love music the way I do. But I think that he has some music sensibility.
Wow. Wait, how old is he again now?
Four.
Oh yeah,
Four.
he'll develop it if he's
Yeah.
already putting that
He
together.
heard that sound. I said, and it took me a minute. I'm like, oh my God, it sounds exactly like that song. This is the funniest thing ever. He's right. He's right. Totally does.
What if he does want to get into music? What would you tell him? If he decide, Mom, I want to do music, what would you be telling him?
I would tell him to go for it and that I would support him 1,000% all the way and to pursue his dream. I would totally back him 1,000% if that's what he truly loved.
What kind of advice would you give him?
Well, I'd probably be managing him like from
Momager, Momager Sozzi.
I would be a momager, like hands down. So I would not like I would be there every step of the way. I wouldn't miss 1 second of it. So I would definitely hope lead him down a road of success based on all these generations of my dad being an artist, my grandmother an opera singer. So finally, maybe someone will become a household name if that's what he wanted.
Oh, what do you mean? You're a household name.
No, I did okay. I'm not complaining. I think, to achieve what I did, and I'm not gonna like not toot my, but it was not easy, and I enjoyed every step of it, every minute of it. And so I'm just saying, but to be, like a Lady Gaga, or I would hope that I could give him more success. You always want at the next, your children to do better than you. So I would hope that he would get to attain another level of success. If that's what he wanted.
Right,
You
right.
know want to make him happy. That's all.
And for you, do you still want to do music? Do you still want to, create music? I mean, what's the next thing?
So I will tell you that during this whole interesting time that we're living in, this whole pandemic and being home, and I think also reconnecting, like the fact that we're even speaking and bringing up a lot of like, I don't call it the past, but in a way the past, and like, it's really giving me that itch and that desire to like, it's almost like I became a mom, and like I didn't think I could do both in a way.
That's been
Um,
the big misconception with a lot of artists. I know um, there's a lot of people say, "Oh, if you become a mom, you could kiss your career goodbye." And oh, big shouts to Eugene, by the way. He says hi to us
Eugene,
both.
oh, Eugene, love you. Sending you lots of love, Eugene.
Eugene.
We miss you. We miss Rise, and we miss Soundgarden.
Yeah. I mean, that's been like the big misconception. And I'll tell a quick story. When I was working at Tommy Boy Records, and I was working with Jocelyn Enriquez,
Oh yeah.
and I was also very close to her. I helped.
Didn't you produce something?
Yeah, I did. I did produce. Well, I helped her get signed to Tommy Boy, and then after after she left Tommy Boy, then yeah, I started producing some of her stuff. But I will remember this. So, uh, right after she signed with Tommy Boy, uh, she got pregnant, and there were people in her camp telling her, if you keep this baby, you could kiss your career goodbye. And this was, she was, kind of starting to rise up as well. Like, she had a, big record on radio.
That's
She did
awesome.
the Studio 54 with Alternate
Yeah.
and Amber.
And the Bourbons.
And the Bermans, yes, with the Bermans. So, she had a lot going for her. We had just came back from a tour in the Philippines,
Pretty girl too.
and yeah, and so she had to make this decision on what
Did she
she.
keep the baby?
Well, this is what I told her. She asked me. She's like,
Oh,
"What do
hope
you
so.
think? What do you think I should do?" Because there were some people that were,
Oh, I'm sure.
saying if you do this, you can kiss your career goodbye.
Yeah.
And I said, "Look, Jocelyn, you know, there's having a music career that is not a guarantee. You cannot guarantee success in a music career, but one thing you can guarantee is your family and the love that you'll have from your child, you know." So I wasn't going to tell her not to abort, but I just said, look, there's nothing ever guaranteed in life, but you can guarantee
Oh.
having a family and having your baby. And she decided to keep her child.
Oh.
Yeah, and I became her godfather. So
What?
yeah, so I was the
Real?
godfather
Oh
to her
my
son. And
God.
amazingly, he's in college, and
College?
yeah,
You're that old? I want to throw up.
and he's a
Oh,
musician too. So he got the music genes from
oh,
her as
wonderful.
well. And yeah, and she to this day she thanks me
Oh my God.
for
That's
telling
incredible.
her, pretty much telling her like, look, nothing's
Yeah.
guaranteed, but
Oh, listen. Yeah, exactly.
so
Well, the music industry will eat you up alive. We all know that.
Oh yeah.
They'll eat you up alive if you want to know the truth. I mean, you have to have a strong backbone and you got to like, believe in yourself. You got to have and a lot of support.
Yeah, I mean, it's it's definitely. I mean, I'm sure it was hard for you too. Uh, it's a lot different now, especially with the way social media is now.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, we didn't have that really.
Man, imagine if we had social media back then.
No.
Ooh.
Oh my God. No, I don't. I think half the shit went on because there was no social media.
Yeah, especially could you imagine if people had phones like at factory or or in Miami, like yeah,
No.
no. So you still want to maybe
Yeah.
get so this whole
So although so I don't know if it's like a misconception or whatever. I think it's just hard. Like I think that mothers, it's not that there's like a choice, but it's like you get so wrapped up in your child, which is great, because and that it's almost like you sort of don't want to do anything else. So it's not like you have to choose between the two, but I just feel like having a child is such a greater like it just doesn't really even compare. So I think that like once you kind of get into your routine as a mother, like it's easier to balance. So, so almost like I took a little bit of a break, you know what I mean?
yeah.
And now I'm realizing too that part of me, like who I am as an artist, as a singer, as Kim Sozzi, still can like exist. I can do both. I think for mothers to come to that realization, it takes some time of like comprehension, to understand that you can do it. And then you figure a way. But right now, I'm very antsy to like be doing something and excited. So I feel like yes, and I think we might start with stay. I mean, no pressure, but I'm 100% looking forward to doing something. I'm excited. I feel motivated, and more importantly, mentally, like I want to like do it.
And you want to still do dance music.
Yeah, definitely dance music for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
love dance music. Yeah.
Yeah, we were like if you're just joining us, we were just talking we started the whole show playing Stay. I think we're gonna have to redo that song. The lyrics to that song. You were saying you felt this was an under.
Oh, way undervalued, like just totally like an underplay. I forget what the word I used, but it just didn't get enough right. Get no recognition considering how great I think the song is, and the fact that Axel's a writer on it just even proves even more so that it's like worthy. I just think it did not get the love that it deserved. Honestly, I don't know why or whatever, but it no reason that we can't bring it back new and improved in 2020.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna work on that. I'm definitely. We got to put this out. The lyrics to Stay, definitely, it pertains to what's going on right now.
Absolutely.
So you're hearing it here first. Facebook.
Yeah, Clive Davis would want to see that lyric sheet, and he would approve 100,000%. He would say that this resonates with today and with what's happening around the world. I mean, yes and no, if however you interpret it, but yes, it's a great song, and I love it. I love that song, and I would totally be down for doing it. And I think that I already see people like saying like yes. So
Yeah. So I want to thank you, Kim. I
thank
also
you.
want to thank all the people on Facebook that were checking in. Man, I can't believe we've been talking for quite a while.
I know it's
We
crazy.
could
And we had a good turnout, I think, which was nice. And then they could always rewatch it, obviously, and on their own time too.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad that we got to kind of reconnect.
And Rich, you're doing well. Your family. Just want to ask you, like, before we wrap up, like, your wife, everyone's good on your end.
Yeah, we're just like with everybody else. We're just trying to stay safe, and we're just trying to make things happen. And I think it's been great that, like I said, virtually we've been able to reconnect with a lot of people.
Yeah,
And
that's been a good part of it.
so wait, do you have any other performances online that you're going to be doing soon?
So tomorrow I'm doing this concert, which it's on my Instagram page. I'm not exact. We're donating to charity. And
Which
it's
charity was that?
I'll tell you right now, because you know me, I just say yes, 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 and then I figure it all out after. But it is going to, I'll tell you in a second when I can like find this. So it's Keller Williams, which is like a Douglas Elliman, like a brokerage firm, and then it's going to. I'm so sorry, you guys have to bear with me. Sorry. Let me just tell you where the money's going to. Oh, come on. Why can I not find it? Of course, when you want to find something, you can't. Wait. And there's gonna be a lot of good people on. If anyone that follows like baseball, like Mariano Rivera is gonna be on.
Oh, wow.
Me. Who else is gonna be on? Some famous chef, Sal Manzo, the singer, some soccer player. I don't know. There's a good amount. Brian Cashman from the Yankees is also good. Where's all the money going? That's what I want to know.
Where can people watch this though?
So Eventbrite, I'll put the link up on my website. But I can't. I'm trying to see where the money's going to. It's going to one of the. Oh wait, is it saying here? Where is it going? Oh, donate. Where is it going? I don't see where it's going. I'll put everything up on my site. I apologize, but it's going. You could get onto it from some Eventbrite link, and I'll send you everything. And it's 100% going to charity, so that's big.
Yeah, we all.
I've been doing those things. I just did the Posh thing. I think that Brian Rosenberg is working on another concert. This one's, I think, going to be like, I think the first one was like a practice run in a lot of ways, and the next one should be really exciting. So I'm looking forward to being a part of that. I hopefully have stay with you in the works. So so
Yeah.
I'm
No,
making
we'll
my
get
own
on
little
it.
deals here and there. I'm getting back in the game.
No, it's good. I think people want to see you back in the game too.
Thanks, Rich.
They definitely do.
I can still sing. I'm singing to myself. I'm putting on these videos on Facebook. I still got it.
Oh, let's see. Big shouts to DJ John Michael. John Michael from Peloton. He's like my.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so John Michael is the DJ for Peloton.
Amazing.
So big shout outs to him. He's been helping me with my workout because I'm on Peloton.
You look
also.
great, Rich, by the way.
I gained some weight from this. I'm not gonna lie. This whole COVID, man. I mean, you
You
could.
look good though. At least you had the couple pounds to put on because you were skinny. You started at a good starting point.
Well, you can see in the video. You can see how skinny I was in
Oh,
the.
look at me. I'm looking at myself. I want to throw up. I mean, I was like all in white. Like, are you kidding me? I'm dying.
Let's talk about this real quick before we go. Let's
Oh,
talk.
I remember thinking that I was fat. Okay?
Let's talk
I remember
about
being
this
like,
video real quick. I'm looking at the video right now.
I'm like naked in parts. I mean, come on.
I'm trying to remember. Where did you film?
That was the guy who filmed it. I think it was his house.
With that couch?
Freddie.
That couch with the
Yeah.
white.
God knows it was on that couch too. Like, wow, I don't know. I'm like slobbering all over it. I mean, I remember thinking that I looked so terrible at the time, and meanwhile, I look back and I'm like, you never realize, like, you never see yourself. So
No, I remember filming
you
the
were
video.
there. We were all there.
What's that?
You were there. We were all there.
Yeah, no, we were all there. Where I'm trying to think. Where is this? Where was his studio? It was in New York.
Like was it like Queens or Brooklyn? I feel like
Yeah,
it wasn't the city. I'm pretty sure it was not the city.
but you
Freddie Esposito was his name. Do you remember?
That's it. I think he's in the video. I could see him.
Oh, really?
I
Of
think
course, he had to get in there.
Yeah, he's
Had to put himself in.
or was not him. There's a guy in the video. Who's the guy? I don't remember.
The guy?
Yeah, if you look, I'm looking at it.
I'm looking.
There's like scenes of you walking through the city,
Oh,
and
okay,
there's a
yeah.
guy following you.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe that was Freddie.
I think it was Freddie.
He was friends with John Cano. Do you remember? Like that's
Yeah.
how I. Yeah, I don't remember. I mean, you know what year this was? Rich? This must have been in 2003.
Yep. No, you're correct.
That's
It was 2003.
17 years ago. Rich, does it? Not for nothing. It does not feel like that many years ago.
I
does it?
know. It's crazy.
And I want to remember this moment where we're thinking, like, you're thinking you have 10 pounds on. I'm thinking I look terrible. You know what? No, we look good because in 17 more years, we're going to be old. Really old.
No, you got your
Well,
with your
the Filipino
genes.
genes we do preserve well.
Yes. Yeah, for those that don't know, what's your nationality again?
So my mother is Filipino, Puerto Rican, and French, but mainly Puerto Rican and Filipino.
Yeah.
And my dad is 100% Italian.
Yeah.
So that's the mix.
Lucas Prada's in the building.
Oh, Lucas. Hi, Lucas.
He was part of our little clique too.
Oh, yeah.
Little Miami clique.
Lucas just lost like 50 pounds.
I know. We need to figure out his whole
Yeah, I know.
situation.
Give me the mix. Well, you're fine, Rich. You're fine. But now I'm very motivated. That's all I'm going to say. You know, we're not going to be allowed out for quite some time still, especially here in New York. So I think the excuse of oh, it's temporary, or I think this is going to be our new norm for a while. So you have to sort of just adjust to it and make it part of your life for a while, for the time being.
David G. Mendez says now's the time to develop local artists. Oh, that's something I wanted to ask you too. Would that
Sure.
be something you would be interested in doing? Is mentoring, or have you been mentoring anyone?
I've been asked several times, and I think that I was maybe too involved in my own career to really dedicate or to really give, be able to play that role when, not that I would be competing, but that I just mentally was again focused too hard to spread yourself too thin. But I've been approached to do that, and I would be interested in possibly doing that. There are a lot of, I mean, there's so many talented people, especially in Long Island. I don't know what goes on, but there are some really good local people around.
That actually could be a business for you too. You could be like a vocal coach.
Yeah.
A lot of people doing the Zoom lessons.
Yep.
With vocal.
Maybe I will, or even mentoring, or an advisor. I mean, I've been signed to how many labels?
Yeah.
Several, more than 5, and 3 major labels. So I have
And international too.
And international, and I have a lot of contacts. And yeah, I mean, I guess, you know what? I'm going to be home for a year. As you know, I do the weddings, and miss my bride so much. And I'm so sad that they can't celebrate their special day. And basically everyone's postponed, I mean, till 2021. So it looks like musically and creatively, like that would at least be that has been my outlet. So I think that's why I'm trying to jump onto this whole thing with, filming from home and connecting with people, because I do it for a living and for every weekend. And I have that outlet. It's like someone being told that you can't get on that bike and ride. And that's what's, you can't do something that your outlet's like not there. So that's why I think that I want to be able to connect with everyone, just because I'm missing it,
Hamilton Czar said when he was with Z100, we did a club gig at Soundgarden with Kim and Lucas. We hung out with Kim. She was so awesome to party with.
Hi, Hamilton. I kind of remember that. That's when they were doing their live feeds. I remember a lot of times they did like a live broadcast with Eugene, which was so fun. Yep. That was the best club ever. I mean, again, these are like precious memories, like amazing times in my life that I'm just so grateful to have had, honestly.
Yeah.
And the fact that we can still talk to people that experience this with us, and that they're around, and that they're active and they're lively and they're missing it too, is so nice. It just goes to show you that they want more.
Yeah. Well, anyways, thank you again, Kim.
Rich, you're the best. Thank you for doing this. This was like the highlight of my week, maybe my quarantine.
Yeah. Thank you to all the Facebook people too. Seriously.
Yes, thank you everyone.
Guys. Sorry about the audio keep going in and out. Zoom has been kind of wacky.
I'm glad we even did it and went live, because Rich was like, should we tape it? Should we go live? I'm like, and we both said, let's do it live. It'll be so fun, I less pressure too. And now you don't do any editing, Rich. You could just that's it. It's done.
Yeah. Maybe we'll do this again as a post after we redo Stay.
I will hold you to that, Rich.
I'm actually going to work on it right now. I'm going to work on redoing Stay. And I think I lost you. Did I lose you? I just lost her. Okay. So we lost Kim, but it's okay. We were wrapping up anyways. Thank you guys for joining us. We'll be back. You're going to be hearing some new music from myself and Kim Sozzi soon. Take care, guys.